Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 165 based on novel. So let's start. Pure Feather family was far more ancient than the recent Rockwind family. The strongest warrior in Swallow Mound territory was coincidentally from the Pure Feather family. Pure Feather Dao. Domain Lord level 6, he was the oldest in the family currently. He was also the strongest and the true person controlling the family from the shadows. He was the true man with power. Just like how the Black Dragon Mountain Empire had an emperor, with many generations of successive emperors. In truth, however, the person with the true power was the god leader of the sacred land Black Dragon Mountain. Pure Feather Dao was the man that was truly in control. A pavilion that was completely purple with 3 levels, and the entire staircase was built with wood that was dyed purple. Just the cost of this construct alone was more expensive than the entire Pure Feather family's other territories. 3rd level. A black-bearded middle-aged man dressed in a loose robe sat quietly on his bed with his eyes shut. Suddenly, a powerful energy ripple rushed from the northeast direction. Blood River World had other directions. East, south, west, and north were uniform. However, the absolute directions were different from Earth's. Pure Feather Dao's expression grew serious, immediately spreading out his spirit energy to sweep the area. Because he was a fighter, when compared to a spirit reader, his spirit energy was much weaker. However, when one reaches the Domain Lord level, sweeping with spirit energy was still an easy thing to do. Rumble. With the pavilion as the center, the torrent of spirit energy rippled in all directions, immediately sweeping the entire mansion and that particular palace. As he checked, his expression changed immediately. He rushed out from the bed and vanished. Within the palace that the family leader resided in, the smell of blood filled the air, as over 300 bodies were on the ground. Red and white stains the ground, it was disgusting to look at. And about the same time these 300 over people just fell, a bearded middle-aged man in a loose grey robe floated in the air above the palace. His eyes were raging as he looked down below. The palace's 2nd level window was open and through it a beautiful woman was peeking through. After spotting the blood that flowed like a river, the scene caused her to shriek. In mid-air Pure Feather Dao's expression changed. Rumble. Mud-yellow energy waves immediately engulfed the palace. Simultaneously, the waves wrapped itself around the white-robed Yuku-chi and the lady that was hiding in the palace, dragging them into mid-air. Speak, what happened? Pure Feather Dao looked at the two, filled with rage. That beautiful lady's face was pale. However, Yuku-chi only shook his head. I don't know. I just know that a black silhouette appeared suddenly, and after that I saw these over 300 people use their own weapons to kill themselves. And the family leader was taken away. Pure Feather Dao looked at the lady. Yes, it was Yuku-chi. He brought someone to meet the leader only went out because of that. I don't know anything else. The beautiful lady shook her head. Pure Feather Dao looked at Yuku-chi. Yuku-chi, however, had a peculiar smile. His body violently exploded, the bones and other stuff that flew from the explosion pierced through the lady beside him. She stared wide-eyed at the 3 large holes in her chest, shouting, "Save me!" Almost all people on Blood River World were at least Star Traveler level, this woman too, hence even with holes in her chest, she hadn't died yet. From the distance, many silhouettes floated over. It was the family's strongest warriors and important figures. Elder, what's going on? Grandfather, what is this? The nurtured upper echelon of the family were all stunned as they looked at the large group of bodies in the palace. My God, amongst them there were the 9 shadow guards. Those were the 9 great shadow guards, a formidable force in the Pure Feather family. 9 cloud levels. Go and look for me and bring back the family leader. Pure Feather Dao raged. Simultaneously, his energy wave exploded about, almost like a formless blade piercing straight through that lady, leaving nothing but a mess. Yes, the group complied. Actually, from seeing the over 300 guards who were all dead, they had already guessed that the outcome of the family leader was not good. From hearing the story, he should have been taken away, bastard. With mud-yellow energy waves surrounding him, like a god in the night floating in mid-air, Pure Feather Dao was madly scanning the area with his spirit energy. He was a fighter, hence his spirit energy was more condensed and gentle. Its control and magnitude paled far in comparison to that of a spirit reader. However, to simply scan was not a problem at all. As the gravity of Blood River World was extremely huge, Pure Feather Dao's scan could only be spread up to about 80 kilometers. Where is he? Wrapped in the energy, he flew over for around 100 kilometers. In the dark night above Swallow Mound City, a mud-yellow light was swiftly flashing about, suddenly flashing to another region here and there, obviously searching the entire Swallow Mound City. Swallow Mound City, City Leader's Mansion. A tall and sturdy middle-aged man with a dark green engraving on his forehead walked along the palace's railings. He was dressed in a blood-red scaled armor. With his cold eyes, he was looking up at the sky, at Pure Feather Dao, who was searching all over Swallow Mound City, as he said softly, "This old punk, what is he raging about? To enrage this old punk this much, the Pure Feather family must have suffered a huge loss." His lips curled into a cold smile. He was the one with the most authority within Swallow Mound City, the city leader, Rockwind Chong. However, in terms of power, he was still slightly weaker than Pure Feather Dao. As for why he was able to become the city leader of Swallow Mound City, there were two reasons. One of them was because he had absorbed a Blood River crystal. The second reason was because he had special connections with the world city leader in that territory. Pure Feather Dao, however, even though he was stronger, he couldn't absorb the Blood River crystal. Hence, he didn't have the right to become leader. Go crazy until you die. That would be the best. Rockwind laughed coldly, following which he gave an order to his underlings, "Go and check to see what exactly happened with the Pure Feather family." "Yes." A soft voice resounded. The Pure Feather family had roots that extended extremely deep into the city. As for this massacre and abduction of their family leader, what level of stupidity was this? To enrage the elder Pure Feather Dao to such a state that he was searching the whole city personally, and also to activate the entire family and all its departments to madly search about. At the same time, the city leader's Rockwind family, along with some other powers, all began to join in. The entire Swallow Mound City's undercurrent began to flow. The Yu family's Yu Yang Tao was a star level 9, his fleeing max speed had reached 8 kilometers per second. And Luo Feng, who was a universe level 9, with domain level 9, along with high comprehensions of the space origin law, could instantly accelerate and reach top speed. His instantaneous acceleration, even with the gravity of Blood River World, could reach up to 300 kilometers per second. When Luo Feng had grabbed the family leader back then, he wrapped him in spirit energy and immediately rushed into the skies, flying straight into the cloud levels. In the 15th level, 30,000 kilometers away from Swallow Mound City. Luo Feng grabbed the family leader and finally stopped. "What do you want?" Pure Feather Chong's expression was pale. Having had his Dantian destroyed the moment he was grabbed, his soul was now under heavy pressure from Luo Feng's powerful spirit energy. "Why are you asking me?" Luo Feng immediately grabbed the space bracelet from Pure Feather Chong. Naturally, that space bracelet had his spirit imprint. However, Luo Feng's spirit energy became like a long pike and forcefully broke through the spirit imprint seal, causing Pure Feather Chong's face to go even more pale, quite wealthy. Luo Feng held onto the bracelet, carefully examining the items within. "You want money? No problem. However much you want, you will get. Just don't kill me," Pure Feather Chong said. "You are a spirit reader, you can make me forget everything here and I won't even remember your appearance." Luo Feng frowned. Within the space bracelet, there were no Blood River crystals. Pure Feather Chong. Luo Feng looked at him. The family leader Pure Feather Chong at that point didn't even behave at all like the NA family leader. He suddenly felt enticed and hypnotized by the gaze of that black-robed youth before him. 1 second later, his gaze grew dark, and he looked at Luo Feng with passionate respect. "Master." Luo Feng stood in the clouds. Looking at Pure Feather Chong before him, he said, "Let me ask you, do you know who has Blood River crystals? Does your Pure Feather family have any?" "Yes." Pure Feather Chong said without hesitation. "Where are they?" Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. "With my family's elder." Pure Feather Chong replied respectfully. "Elder?" Luo Feng frowned. He had heard of a powerful domain lord within the family. However, he hadn't really confirmed that before. Yes, the strongest in the Pure Feather family, also the strongest in Swallow Mound City. Pure Feather Chong said, the Blood River crystal is with him. However, even though he acquired that one, no matter how he tried, he couldn't absorb it. Hence the city leader position landed in the Rock Wind family's hands instead. Your family elder is stronger than the city leader? Luo Feng had heard from him, yes. Pure Feather Chong said respectfully. The city leader just became a domain level over 100 years ago. According to the elder, he can only be considered to be within the early stages of the domain level. However, my family elder is in the later stages already. Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. From the looks of it, the city leader was about domain lord level 2 or 3. After all, he had only broken through over 100 years ago. Normal people breaking through required them to slowly absorb the energy. To go from level 1 to 9 required a very long time. Even in the universe, only the most elite of geniuses could receive nurture like Luo Feng's, as there was no need to waste time in such quantity-related training. Other than your family's elder, who else has the crystals? Luo Feng asked. The ones I can confirm are the elder. Another is the general of the Swallow Mound Army, Rock Wind Zon. Pure Feather Chong said. Rock Wind Zon, he is the younger brother of city leader Rock Wind Xiong. He's on good terms with me. Back then he even took out a crystal to show off to me, saying it was something his older brother gave him to absorb. One is with your family elder, another is with Rock Wind Zon. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Under the influence of the soul technique, the Pure Feather family leader answered everything honestly. There wasn't any hint of concealing anything. Very good. Luo Feng stood within the clouds and asked, do you know if anyone else has the crystals? The process of becoming a blood warrior required one to first acquire 3 Blood River crystals and absorb them successful. Only then would they truly be considered to have become a blood warrior. Once Luo Feng knew of the blood warrior and even the legendary black warrior, he naturally had some anticipation within. He wanted to first become a blood warrior and maybe later a black warrior. Even though in Blood River world, the black warrior was but a legend, since such a legend existed, there was a possibility of it happening. And obviously, with Luo Feng's personality, he wouldn't give up without trying. Everyone all regarded themselves as special and different. Luo Feng was the same, only that he knew himself better than anyone. Master, I can confirm that the family elder and the general of the Rock Wind Army have the crystals. The rest, I'm unable to guarantee. Although, there are some rumors. Pure Feather Chong replied respectfully. Rumors? Luo Feng frowned. Yes, it is about our city leader Rock Wind Xiong. Even though I am unable to confirm if he has the crystals and how many he might have. Pure Feather Chong said, I can say with high possibility that the city leader Rock Wind Xiong definitely has at least one that he hasn't absorbed. Luo Feng looked at Pure Feather Chong. Rock Wind Xiong has an illustrious background. His teacher is the world city leader of this side of the world. Pure Feather Chong explained. He succeeded in absorbing 1 crystal a long time ago. He had to wait till he broke through to domain level, after which he quickly became the city leader. And after that, he secretly gave his younger brother 1 crystal to warriors. Having more crystals is a good thing. After absorbing 1, they would want to absorb another. Since he could give his younger brother 1 crystal, that means that it wasn't too hard for him to acquire more. At least there's a way for him. Pure Feather Chong said confidently, and with Rock Wind Xiong's selfish personality, to be able to give his younger brother just 1 means he would at least have 1 more prepared for himself. I suspect he probably even has more. Luo Feng nodded. It made sense. After which, Luo Feng immediately killed Pure Feather Chong and took care of his body. In the dark night, he returned to Swallow Mound City's Flying Cloud Pavilion. Pure Feather family was deeply rooted within Swallow Mound City. Its roots went far deeper than the Rock Wind family. If they were to be angered, the entire Swallow Mound City would definitely feel their wrath. Pure Feather family mansion, in the first level of that 3-level purple wood pavilion, Pure Feather Elder Dao squinted his eyes in his seat. The rest of the upper echelon of the family along with his grandchildren stood obediently at his sides. Within the large hall knelt 10 people, and outside of the hall knelt a 100. Grandfather, these are all the sentries and guard leaders from Yukuchi's mansion. They all personally saw Yukuchi bring a black-robed man. An old man with white hair, one that looked even older than Pure Feather Dao, said respectfully, "Speak, what did that black-robed man look like?" Pure Feather Dao closed his eyes and said indifferently, "No idea." The old man shook his head. Pure Feather Dao revealed a look of rage. He stared hard, his gaze was shooting out visible light beams at the old man. The 100 of them all saw the black-robed man, however none of them can recall his appearance. The old man continued, "Back then, they didn't feel anything special about it. Just that this black-robed man was very normal and there was nothing special about him. However now when they try and recall, his face appears blurred out in their memories. Other than him wearing a black robe, they can't recall anything else." Pure Feather Dao turned to look at the group kneeling. "Elder, we cannot recall, we really cannot recall, we truly saw his face back then, however now no matter how hard we try, we cannot recall. I even stared hard at him then, however now," the group of sentries all said fearfully. Pure Feather Dao was shocked. These sentries and guard leaders were all pinnacle sky levels, star level 9. To be unknowingly influenced by a warrior, even a universe-level spirit level would find it hard to do. One had to have a much stronger spirit energy and consciousness level and control to reach such a level. When did such a warrior appear in Swallow Mound City? Pure Feather Dao pondered. However, the fact that he was so careful in entering here means he isn't a match for me. If he was stronger than me, he wouldn't have needed to be so careful. Just barging in would have done it. Listen well. Pure Feather Dao looked coldly at the family's upper echelon in the hall. "Our Pure Feather family's family leader has been taken away under our surveillance and from under our noses. We don't even know if he's alive or dead. This is a humiliation to our family. We have to find this person, otherwise our Pure Feather family will be mocked at by countless people in Swallow Mound City. Go look, check every suspicious person properly. The culprit's strength is at least at pinnacle cloud level. It might very likely be in the domain level. Check from all pathways, see which mysterious warriors have appeared. Remember, even if you've found him, don't make a move. Immediately come inform me instead." Pure Feather Dao looked at the group. Even if Chong hasn't been killed, he's not fit to be the leader anymore. This search for the culprit is the test I am giving you all. Once this matter is concluded, I will pick the new family leader. Go now, yes." The group of upper echelon's eyes gleamed brightly. They all replied simultaneously and swiftly left. Time to do their best. To become the new family leader, these upper echelons would all unleash all their hidden strengths to quickly check all the secret information about the mysterious warriors or suspected mysterious beings. This way, all the information and news was quickly being gathered. Second day, daybreak. Rumble, 10,000 black-scaled armored soldiers rose to the sky. It was almost like a black cloud flying over, with a huge tall and sturdy dark red-scaled armored leader. His appearance was very similar to the city leader Rock Wind Chong, only with more madness and violence in his aura. His entire being seemed wild and savage. Rock Wind Chong sat on a green armored snake, spitting unhappily to the side. "That no good Pure Feather Chong, getting abducted away and still asking us for help. Big brother is too much too, asking me to help out, hee. However that Pure Feather Chong. I wonder who he actually messed with, to actually get taken away from his own mansion. Hearing this makes me happy." Rock Wind Chong mocked softly. The two deputy generals beside twitched their faces as they heard this. This general of theirs controlled the Swallow Mound army, yet he did whatever he pleased. Him and that Pure Feather Chong were good friends. At the same time, they were a couple of scoundrels who wreaked havoc as they pleased. Scoundrels indeed. Pure Feather Chong's death made this Rock Wind Chong happy instead. And he wasn't rushed or slow, as he waited for daybreak to bring the army into search. "General, ahead is Flying Cloud Pavilion." One of the deputy generals said respectfully. Rock Wind Chong glanced and said indifferently, "Flying Cloud Pavilion is the best hotel in Swallow Mound City. With the culprit's level of strength and status, there's a high possibility he would stay there. General, if that person truly wanted to make a move on Pure Feather Chong, he probably wouldn't stay in such a place, but rather somewhere more secure and secluded." The other deputy general said softly. Rock Wind Chong slapped the face of that deputy general, causing fresh blood to fly. His entire body and the wild beast below him were both shocked. "Idiot." Rock Wind Chong glanced coldly at him. "If I say Flying Cloud Pavilion, Then it is Flying Cloud Pavilion. Don't you know how to put on a show? Do you think we'll really find the culprit for the Pure Feather family? That deputy general nodded, not daring to make a sound. What an idiot. If you say such stupid things again, I'll have to change my deputies. Usually you seem pretty smart. Has your brain knocked into a wall today? Rockwind rubbed his chin and looked up. Looking at the distant Flying Cloud Pavilion, go, I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself. Get all of the cloud-level guests and the warriors you think are strong within to all come out. I want to take a look at all of them, yes. That deputy general who was slapped complied loudly. Immediately, he brought his underlings, a 10,000-strong army to rush into Flying Cloud Pavilion. Flying Cloud Pavilion's area had a diameter of 10 kilometers. The sudden entrance of such a big army caused a huge ruckus. Owner, it's not that I'm not giving you any face, but you two should know what happened. The general has given the order to get all of your cloud-level guests and any guest you think may be powerful warriors to all come out. That deputy general sat high above on the wild beast and said, the large group soldiers stood behind him. Understood, will comply. That fat small-eyed owner gave the order and his large group of helpers led the way. Cloud Level Room 2, in a quiet pavilion. Luo Feng was dressed in a simple robe and was reading a book. It had been half a night since the incident, but according to Earth's time, it had been 2 to 3 days. That pure feather Chong was just killed by me. Right now the entire city is in an uproar, however, it doesn't affect me. I'll wait till tonight to make a move on Rockwind Zhong. Luo Feng made his plans while reading the book. Multitasking was very simple for him. Suddenly noise resounded from outside, roars and shouts. Quickly, come out, Lord, it's an order by the Rockwind General. Lord, please do me a favor and come out, quickly, that way, quickly. The outside was getting noisier. Luo Feng frowned when he heard this. He had long guessed that Pure Feather Chong's death would stir a huge commotion, however he didn't expect them to come to Flying Cloud Pavilion so early in the morning. The footsteps outside swiftly got louder and louder. Suddenly the yard door was heavily pushed open and 10 soldiers immediately rushed in. Led by a waiter, they walked into the pavilion. The waiter saw Luo Feng within and said apologetically, Lord, the Rockwind General has given the order to look for the culprit. Lord, you should help out, quickly, come out, quickly. The group of soldiers rushed straight in, shouting at Luo Feng. Close to 1,000 people with various attributes such as people with expensive clothes, or strong auras, or those who were cold and proud, and the cloud-level guests of the Flying Cloud Pavilion along with those suspected of being a mysterious powerful warrior were present there. Luo Feng looked far ahead amongst the crowd. The Flying Cloud Pavilion owner was at the side discussing with a tall and sturdy intrepid-looking general by the side. Luo Feng could feel from his aura that the general should be a Universe Level 9, Rockwind General. They are all here. The owner said. Rockwind Zhong snorted through his nose, following which he gazed coldly at the crowd. Rockwind Zhong. Amongst the crowd, Luo Feng was happy after he heard it. He was still prepared to figure out how this Rockwind Zhong looked like, so as not to attack the wrong person. And now, he could see him clearly. Last night, which one of you broke into the Pure Feather family mansion? Rockwind Zhong shouted coldly. The group of close to 1,000 unknown people remained silent, not making any sound at all. And Rockwind Zhong, who sat high above on his green armored snake, gazed at everyone below. Suddenly he pointed at a black-robed cold-looking man in the distance, shouting, that black-robed bastard, bring him along later. Yes, the 2 deputy generals at the side complied. General. The black-robed cold-looking man's expression grew ugly, shouting, General, I'm from the Luonyang area, don't give me rubbish. Rockwind Zhong laughed coldly. With your strength and your dressing, I have no choice but to suspect that you were the culprit who broke into the Pure Feather family mansion. That tall punk with messy hair, bring him too. That skinny punk hiding at the side too. You, him, the one in the white robe, that blue-haired one. Rockwind Zhong continuously chose 10 people. These 10 were all very strong, as most of them were in the pinnacle sky level. There were even 2 universe levels, and that black-haired youth, his strength is strong enough too. Bring him. Rockwind Zhong pointed at Luo Feng. Luo Feng frowned, as there were no scanning devices in Blood River World. They based their deductions purely on energies and auras. As for Luo Feng, he used his willpower and consciousness strength to control and hide his strength, deliberately releasing one that of a pinnacle star level. He didn't expect to still get chosen, alright. A total of 58 have been chosen. The culprit might very likely be within these 58. Take them all away back to the prison. Rockwind Zhon waved his hand. Luo Feng didn't resist and followed the other 57 with the army. In terms of strength, Luo Feng knew that he could easily wipe out Rockwind Zhon and the others. Because of his confidence and this guarantee, he was very relaxed. Until the critical moment, there was no need to massacre so many of them publicly. What's up with this General Rockwind? Is this how they catch a killer? Coming over to our flying cloud pavilion to find a group of guests and randomly picking from a crowd, that's called finding a killer, you idiot. Rockwind General is from the Rockwind family. The Pure Feather family was humiliated, hence the Rockwind family are all extremely happy. Why would they seriously look for the culprit? If they really wanted to look for him, they would have begun their search last night. Why would they wait till now? It's purely just for show, just an act. However, the 58 sure are unlucky. Within Flying Cloud Pavilion, many were discussing Swallow Mound City, General's Prison. Luo Feng and the others were forced into groups of 5 or 6 and were separately crammed into cells. These cells were built by special stones from Blood River World, and were able to exist under the universe energy flows and strong gravity here. Hence, these two were more sturdy than other stones. They were strong enough to block attacks from even a sky-level, star-level, warrior. We sure are unlucky. I have to go meet my family leader tomorrow. How can this be good? Luo Feng's cell had a total of 6 people, of which a fat one dressed in expensive clothes sighed and shouted loudly. The others from different cells all heard him clearly. Big trouble, big trouble. The fatty didn't stop sighing. Shut up, smelly fatty, lower your voice. The people from other cells all began to jeer and shout within. The fatty looked outside at the soldiers approaching, raising his voice and sighing again. If I don't see the Wang family leader, my business would be ruined. I would incur huge losses. So unlucky, purely a disaster from above. After shouting a couple more times, under the jeers from others, he finally stopped. Luo Feng stood silently within the cell, watching things unfold. Several of the guards and soldiers within the prison began to mutter, "Brothers, the general captured these 58 back for show. He didn't even interrogate them. He even sent a bodyguard over to tell me that after interrogating just a little, if there's no problem, just let some of them go, and leave some in the prison. Everything is just for show." A guard said softly, "Did you hear that fatty shouting? He seems to be some sort of businessman, and is in a rush to meet someone. We should get a hefty sum from him. It's an opportunity. After all, it's all just for show. It'll be fine with some of them gone." The group of guards watching the prison all began to laugh and mutter amongst themselves. After which they ordered, "Go and grab that fierce and shouting fatty and bring him over. We'll interrogate him well." "Yes, Lord." The group of soldiers immediately brought the fatty out. Within the prison, the fatty that was leaning against the door looking outside revealed a smile as he saw the group of soldiers running over. One of the soldiers ordered, "The Lord has ordered for us to interrogate you well, grab him." Following which they opened the door and grabbed the fatty. The fatty turned back to the other 5 in the cell and said, "Sirs, I'll be leaving first, see you all." Following which, he followed the group of soldiers and left. After a while, a soldier ran over and shouted, "The Lord has interrogated him and found him not suspicious at all, he's been released. The rest of you 57 better answer properly. Those that don't, be prepared to stay in this prison for a while." Following which he turned and left. "The fatty has gone, answer properly." "What answer properly? Isn't it simply bribing them?" "Well, I know, that fatty purposely shouted that way before, you know this only now." Stupid. Discussions and noise resounded within the cells. The guards who were hiding in the distance heard the discussions and all of them began to smile. They then ordered, "Bring them one by one, we'll interrogate them properly." Interrogate? It was simply just forking over a sum of money, just seeing whether it was enough. When they interrogated Luo Feng took out 1 purple blade currency, immediately making the guards' eyes gleam. Their attitudes immediately became friendly. and quickly released Luo Feng. Broad daylight, Luo Feng strolled out of the general's prison carefree, and followed the pathways out of the mansion. Evening, the sky had gone dark. Luo Feng, who was at a restaurant eating and drinking alone for a while, finally left and walked amongst a crowd in Swallow Mound City's pathways. It's almost time. Last night, I caught Pure Feather Chong. Then tonight, I'll go catch Rock Wind John. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. I'm really looking forward to the Blood River Crystal. Just what is it like? It is even mysterious enough to gain the attention of the Virtual Universe Company. As he had been brought to the general's prison earlier in the day, Luo Feng was very familiar with the general's mansion. It's no wonder the Rock Wind family is considered a new upstart family. This general's mansion, in terms of security level, isn't even 1/10 of the Pure Feather family's. Luo Feng walked within the mansion. Almost like walking in his own yard, his silhouette floated about. With a flash he went from side to side, shaking his head. I can feel a total of 3 universe-level warriors. With his familiarity of the universe space ripples, he could feel 3 strong auras. And one of which Luo Feng was familiar with, because he had met him during the day. It's Rock Wind John. Luo Feng smiled. His silhouette floated swiftly as he passed the fake mountains and the walkways, finally landing within a 3-story luxurious palace within the mansion. Breaking through to the domain level is so hard. I've done everything my big brother has told me to do in terms of training, and I've done them well. Why have I still not broken through? HMPH, big brother must definitely be afraid of me reaching the domain level and turning into a threat for him. Rock Wind John was topless. He was wearing an open long robe. While walking along the stairs, he had many thoughts on his mind. When he reached the 3rd level, he casually looked up and prepared to enter his study. However, suddenly his body shook. His eyes were filled with a sense of disbelief. In front of him stood a simply dressed black-haired youth silhouette. Rock Wind John immediately went into battle mode, simultaneously calling guards to help him. However, no matter how shocked he was still confident. He thought that because he was a cloud-level pinnacle, universe level 9, warrior, the person before him couldn't be much stronger than he was. Also, delaying a while would be enough for his big brother Rock Wind John to rush over. Luo Feng, who was initially standing at the distant window, immediately appeared before Rock Wind John in what seemed like teleportation. This was extremely fast, far exceeding that of a regular universe level 9's max speed. His hand formed a blade, fast as lightning. No, Rock Wind John's hands had brandished a huge blade. He was prepared to use it as a shield to block. However, Luo Feng's palm blade was almost like an illusion, swiftly stabbing through his stomach, after which he pulled it out. Only after this did the shield slowly come. Everything was mysterious and like an illusion. There was just a simple flash. Illusionary 7 blades, Dutchman's pipe. With Luo Feng's strength in his domain and origin law comprehension, against such weak techniques with domain only level 1 or 2, no comprehension of any origin laws, and only at universe level 9, it was simply a massacre. Rock Wind John held onto his stomach. There was a blade wound there, and fresh blood flowed out. It was purely from Luo Feng's palm blade. Rock Wind John looked with fear at Luo Feng. His dantian was destroyed, and his spirit was under the powerful pressure of Luo Feng's spirit energy. Hence, he couldn't even use any spirit energy now. How do you do, Rock Wind General? Luo Feng smiled and looked at Rock Wind John. Rock Wind John's mind flashed back at Flying Cloud Pavilion. That scene, right? This black-haired youth, wasn't he from the 58 people he had picked? This video will end here. Thank you for watching.